because when you are classified as a country of particular concern, it simply implies that you've been tolerating this insecurity in your country, human rights has been abused in your country, and you're not doing anything about it. When you see us negotiate with terrorists and showing Ashwebi for those who kill our officers and men, it's a country of particular concern. When you pardon those who kill our soldiers, those who...
Hello and what's up, guys? In this video, we are diving into a shocking revelation that is causing serious noise across Nigeria's political and security space. A top security expert has dropped a bombshell claiming that some APC leaders, including those now in power, sold Nigeria's weaknesses to the United States back in 2014. Yes, you heard that right, sold Nigeria's weaknesses. This isn't some random online gist. This came straight from a live channel's television interview that has now gone viral across social media, and what this man said has left many Nigerians speechless. During that heated interview on Channels TV, Robin Mines security expert Mr. Dixon Osagie didn't hold back. He began by addressing Nigeria's endless security nightmare, from kidnappings and insurgency to the banditry and the killings across the north and middle belt. But then the conversation took a dark turn. He revealed that in 2014, some of the same political figures now in government traveled to Washington, D.C. and allegedly exposed Nigeria's internal weaknesses to the United States. According to him, their trip was meant to draw attention to the killings of Nigerians at the time. But in his words, that move ended up selling out the country's vulnerabilities to foreign powers, and today Nigeria is paying the price. Osagie Dixon went as far as saying this could be karma, that the same issue they once condemned are now haunting their own government. He didn't stop there. He accused Nigerian leaders of shielding the sponsors of terrorism, warning that each time we pardon or protect those behind insurgency, we are satisfying criminality. His words were strong. He said a country that wants to develop and a country that doesn't want international embarrassment must fight terrorism to the very end. In his exact words, each time you shield the sponsors of terrorists, you are supporting crime, you are satisfying criminality. And then came another shocking point. He claimed that Donald Trump's description of Nigeria as a country of particular concern is not an insult, but a reflection of the truth. He said, when terrorists kill your soldiers and you pardon them, when you negotiate with bandits and call them repentant, you have already made your country a country of concern. He described a Nigeria where terrorists now move freely, even hosting weddings in Zamfara state while armed to the teeth, and nobody stops them. According to him, these same people attack military bases, seize weapons, and return to their hideouts without consequence. He said it plainly: if you have generals everywhere and terrorists are still defeating you, that is a shame. Osagie warned that Nigeria is already in a fragile state, and if urgent action isn't taken, the country could drift into full-blown collapse. He also made a chilling comparison, warning that what happened in Libya could easily happen here. Remember Libya? Once a booming country, now torn apart after Western intervention. He fears that foreign powers might once again take advantage of Nigeria's internal chaos, using public frustration and division to step in as a savior, just like they did elsewhere. And here is the part that hits home. He said many Nigerians are so tired of the killings that they no longer care if the West comes in and takes our natural resources, as long as people can sleep at night without fear. It is a painful truth, and it shows how deep the frustration has gone. Osagie Dixon didn't mince words when talking about the government. He said our leaders must go back to the drawing board. No more rhetorics, no more playing politics with human lives. If you truly want peace, must matter equally. He warned that Nigeria must stop pretending, stop negotiating with killers, and stop excusing those who destroy lives. He also urged the new security chiefs appointed by President Tinubu to act fast, to carry out a crime mapping of the entire country, identify every hotspot, and wipe out terrorists in 100 days. Towards the end of the interview, he spoke from the heart, saying that the only true savior of Nigeria are Nigerians themselves. He warned that foreign intervention won't fix our problems. It will only bring more weapons, more chaos, and more pain. His final words were simple but powerful. America will not save us. The only savior we need is ourselves. Guys, this interview shook the entire country, and it is still trending right now. I am telling you, the way this expert spoke, the things he said, and the way he called out the government, it is something you need to see for yourself. So guys, I will let you watch this video for yourself so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so. Take a look, guys, and remember to share your thoughts after watching.
We're now being joined by security experts to discuss Nigeria on the edge, global concerns, local insecurity. Mr. Osaji Dixon, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me here, Daniel.
Yeah, it's good to have you back. So let's dive straight into it. A lot of people are on the divide on this issue. Since President Trump's tweets came out, people are beginning to pay more attention to the alleged Christian genocide, in the Middle Belt and all of the killings that has been happening in this country. Other people are also of the opinion that there is a Western agenda and we must by all means protect the sovereignty of this country. What are your thoughts on the issue?
Well, today was a busy day on various platforms, engaging with professional minds and also trying to, analyze the tweet of the President of the United States of America, which has gone viral and also has, placed Nigeria once again in a negative limelight. From time immemorial, we're always placed on negative limelight due to the high spread of insecurity, terrorism, insurgency, banditry, and these killings of Christians, like the genocide issues. And most people have the school of thought that both Christians and Muslims are also being killed. And I know strongly that majority of Christian genocide has been taking place. A lot of genocide has been taking place in Nigeria from time immemorial, not within this administration, not within the last administration. Christian genocide has been taking place for a very long time.
Sorry to butt you in. I think that's also a very strong debate. When people say
that's what I'm
Christian genocide, and then other people say, but Muslims are also being killed. Some people might want to also argue that the people doing this, what religion are they?
Exactly, that's what I want to learn. That's my point, because some people say the Muslims are also being killed. I agree. A lot of mosques have been set ablaze by these terrorist guys. A lot of churches have been set ablaze. But sometimes when you look at the ratio, what are the ratio of these killings? When you go to most of this Christian community, when the killings takes place there, what happened? You discover that most of these Fulani herdsmen, dominate that territory, take over the land. And also when you go to some of this Islamic or Muslim community, they also kill. But let's ask ourselves a question. When Boko Haram sprang up, what was their objective? What was their ideology? They claimed that Western education is sin. And at that inception, they were killing a lot of Christians, beheading a lot of clerics and also pastors, bishops, and it was a disturbing situation as well. When you talk about the kidnap of the Chibok girls, Chibok is a Christian-dominated area, and also other incidents happen in Bukus, in Jos Plateau State, Southern Kaduna, Benue State. Those are mostly Christian-dominated area. But now the question is, the people perpetrating this act, what religion are they? From the terrorist perspective, we all understand they're from the Muslim side. So people want to argue that, okay, if you're from the Muslim side, if you want to kill your people, but if you cross to the other side and kill the other religion, it can be classified as genocide, and that is just the truth. Because what I see so far, there has been Christian genocide in Nigeria, and we must say the truth, so that this killing must stop. The killings of Muslims must stop. The killings of Christians must stop. I see a lot of rhetorics flying around this space from our political leaders, and I wonder why they are paying more attention now. Is it because was it because the United States have interest? Because when you are classified as a country of particular concern, simply implies that you've been tolerating this insecurity in your country, human rights has been abused in your country, and you're not doing anything about it. When you see us negotiate with terrorists and showing Ashwebi for those who kill our officers and men, it's a country of particular concern. When you pardon those who kill our soldiers, those who kill our brave officers, government security forces who swore an oath to protect the territorial integrity of Nigeria, and you pardon them in the essence of repentant terrorists, that is a state of concern. If you also negotiate with terrorists, negotiate with bandits, you are a country of particular concern, because you don't need to play with anything that has to deal with human lives. And that is why, as we stand now, Nigeria is already on the international limelight negatively. If you go to the Global Terrorism Index, we are maintaining our ratio there. If you go to the Global Peace Index as well, a lot of dirty things happening. But I see this as an avenue for our leaders not to debate. The killings is true. Muslims are being killed. Christians are being killed. Nigerians are being killed. Our leaders need to go back to the drawing board, and say no. And I tell you, Hero Daniels, these terrorists, if you want to take out these guys, if we are ready in the next 100 days, the Nigerian government should declare 100 days war against these guys, and the Nigerian army headquarters should move an attack and wipe them off from our territorial space. It is doable, Hero Daniels.
Sorry to butt in here. As a journalist, it is my job to state hard facts. It is my job to, make statements based on empirical evidence.
Exactly.
However, that does not also mean that there are not conversations that does not mean that there are conversations that should not be brought up.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, correct.
Goodluck Ebele Jonathan had once said on tape that there are sponsors of terrorism within the government.
All right.
Now, of course, President Buhari took over, and now we have President Tinubu. And till date, we've not seen any lists. We've not seen the names. Some people would say that certain people within the power system are also complacent or are even funding what is going on. Some people would say that there are certain natural resources in this country that the world powers are after, right? So I am not one to start off conspiracy theories.
Exactly.
But what do you make of these conversations?
Well, you know, there's an adage that most times you say a poor man would look at a rich man that he wants to use my star. If you have this star, you should have been a big guy, you know. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that in 2014, this present political leaders, this present APC regime, they were part of the people that, you know, sold our weaknesses out to the United States. They were in DC in 2014 to inform the world that the killings of Nigerians is unacceptable. The killings of Christians is unacceptable. When you go down the tweet of the present president, you see where he tweeted in 2014 that the killings of Nigerians is unacceptable. Now, for me, I see it as karma, you know, fighting back to what they stand to protect about 10, 11 years ago, which was a good fight for them. But you see, like you already talked about some people being mentioned. United Arab Emirates, Hero Daniels, released some names of terrorism sponsors to the government of this country. And to date, we've not been able to see those names. We've not been able to see them being named and shamed. Last time I was on Channels Television to talk about those guys, the sponsors being secretly prosecuted, and that is not good for a country. A country that wants to develop, a country that doesn't want any international, engagement must fight this war to an end and ensure that every single life matters, be you Christian, Muslim, or whatever the case may be. But each time you shield the sponsors of terrorists, you are supporting crime. You are certifying criminality. And I tell you, when Donald Trump says Nigeria is a country of particular concern, looking at the features of what a country of particular concern means simply implies that Nigeria is truly a country of particular concern. Because I'll be worried when a terrorist shoots my brother in Chibok in 2014 and the same person is being pardoned or granted amnesty. You see them showing Ashwebi in the name of Operation Safe Corridor. It's a mess, you know. Crime and punishment works hand in hand, and I've said this on many fora. People must be punished for crime they commit against humanity. If you don't do that, you are aiding crime, you are aiding criminality, and that is why an advanced country like America will want to come and say, hey, you are not serious, you are not ready to take out these guys. They are within the vicinity. They are within our territorial space. Last 2 weeks, I saw some terrorist guys in Zamfara State. They came into the town with their arms and ammunition. One of them was with almost about 12 magazines of the Kalashnikov, and they came in, have their wedding, and they went back. Some of them come, they have negotiation, and they went back. Are you telling me that country is not a country of particular concern? It is a country of particular concern. If not, you have no space, no room to accommodate terrorists. Anyone that's raised an insurrection against the Nigerian state must be eliminated, because the rule of engagement when it comes to life, because presently we're experiencing societal threats, the rule of engagement says anything that poses threat to human lives, whether you're a Christian or a Muslim, that threat must be eliminated. You don't substitute it, you don't play with it, you don't pet it, you don't pay them ransom, you don't negotiate with them, you eliminate it. Nigeria should go ahead and eliminate the existential threat bedeviling our country.
All right, now let's talk about what some people might perceive as the bigger picture. What is the bigger play? We've seen countries where the Westerners invaded, US particularly. You know, you talk about Libya, and Libya has not recovered in terms of their GDP, in terms of how the economy is functioning, right? And some people are afraid that that might happen in Nigeria as well, right?
Okay.
And then if you look at the situations in these countries, the people of those countries were dissatisfied with their governments.
Exactly.
And that is why the US states can come and play savior. Now, we're seeing a similar situation in Nigeria, where the people are genuinely, at least majority, some people say that people are dissatisfied with this current government, thereby leaving the room to divide and conquer. What are your thoughts on that?
Hero Daniel, a fantastic question. You know, sometimes I'm a criminologist, and from my own perspective, you know, sometimes when an incident transpired, we don't look at what caused it, where it was caused, where it happened, and how it happened. We look at why, the why. Why are we here? What's the problem? You know, it's so devastating that for so long, the Nigerian people has been crying. Our people has been crying for so long. I was on BBC last 2 months, and they were trying to interviewed me about the new arms deal between the United States and Nigeria, because the United States is not an enemy. We're not an enemy to the United States. Let's have that very clear. That arms deal, I think, is still with the Congress, because if they never wish us well, they won't sell us those arms. And they've been selling arms to Nigeria for a very long time. And so sad that most times when these Boko Haram or terrorists attack our military, attack our security agents, they tend to cut away some of these arms and ammunition we bought from abroad. And most of these arms get to the enemy's hand. And the West are worried that, hey, Why do arms get to the enemy's hand? And that's another reason for concern as well. And our military, they are the last hope of defense. Once the military is gone, Nigeria as a country will not survive. And that is how we will move to a phase state. Presently, Hero Daniels, we are in a fragile state situation. Nigeria is in a fragile state situation. And if we want to get it right, our leaders must work hand in hand and ensure that we do not play with security issues. Of recent, we've been hearing about rumor mills, about the coup d'etat. And why would some people want to carry out coup against this democratic system, government, which you and I don't pray for, because we should have a democracy for the people, by the people, and for every one of us, not some political elites seeing politics as a game of get rich quickly instead of a game of service. Because if I tell you, Daniels, in the last election, some of these guys who are riding Okada that won election into the House of Assembly, go and see what they are buying up and down. A lot of them, dealing with Nigerian finances and a lot of stuff. So our politicians also, has to be careful, because this time around, they are playing with the tiger's tail.
Now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu moved swiftly, and he has changed the service chiefs. Do you think that move will be very effective? Are we going to see a better military? Are we going to have results in the next coming months, the next coming weeks, adding the pressure of the United States president on the particular issue?
Fantastic. You see, I also will appreciate if the Chief of Defense Staff called for an emergency meeting and first of all carry out a crime mapping analysis of the territorial integrity of Nigeria and ascertain where the threat is coming from. If you, for example, in Lagos State, now if you want to look for the hotbed where you have most of this spread of insecurity, you want to say, okay, Oshodi like in all this area. So that's what we call crime mapping. So let them carry out a crime mapping analysis and also ascertain where all this problem is coming from. And the military should go ahead and bombard hell out of these people. And I tell you for free that the military, I still repeat, the Nigerian military I know has the capability and capacity, but I think they've been so much involved in politics, and that is why this war has been lingering. Imagine 2009 Hero Daniels when Boko Haram sprang up, 16 years down the line, and this fight is still lingering. That is a cause for worry, and that is what we call existential threat, which was even captured in the lines of President Donald Trump. So how do we deal with this existential threat? The Nigerian military needs to go back to the war room and reassess the situation. They can do it in exception of political will, because we also need political will to win this war against these people. Hero Daniels, we have hundreds of generals in this country, from the Army, Navy, Air Force, over 300 generals, and some group of criminal elements are defeating these generals. It's a shame, because you can't have generals all over across the country and some group of criminal elements are taking over your territory. Why are you a general? What are you supposed to do as a general? So these generals we have in our country, these soldiers, the officers, should see this war as a war to protect the territorial integrity of this country. They should say no to greed. They should say no to anyone who wants to politicize this war, because the military has the constitutional right to protect the territorial integrity of this country, and they must not gamble with it. If they gamble with it, they will keep on losing their officers and men so swiftly, and that is why they also need to start looking at force protection. You can't have those who are protecting you and I being killed like chicken. Boko Haram will stage an attack, capture military base, capture military checkpoints. Nigerian army, Nigerian military, it's uncalled for. So the military should go back, re-energize themselves and take out this shame, because Donald Trump said a country of disgrace, and Nigeria is truly becoming a country of disgrace.
All right, very quickly, let's not forget the center. Let's not forget the main issue that's triggered everything, which is the genocide.
The genocide, yeah.
There have been countless viral videos on social media.
Coming up.
In fact, there's a particular video where a Reverend Father was listing the names of the people that were immortalized as a result of the killings. How can we put a decisive stop to these killings? Because we cannot ignore it. As much as people say there's a bigger agenda and nobody really wants the Western world to invade our sovereign nation, you can't also ignore what is going on.
Exactly.
The people are dissatisfied.
Exactly.
We cannot allow the killings
to go on. It's visible.
And a lot of Nigerians on social media are saying that we don't even care if the Western world takes our resources.
A lot of Nigerians don't care about
so
that.
Long as
there's peace,
we are safe, they don't care if they take the resources. They say the resources are not being used for the common man. It doesn't trickle down. So these are the sentiments. And again, the Western world can easily capitalize on the sentiments of the people. And you cannot blame people for feeling sad when their brothers are being killed, when their sisters are being killed.
You can't be beaten and
How can we decisively put an end to this?
Fantastic. Political will. That is why, because politics have divided has divided this great country, Nigeria. And it's so sad that we don't see this as a serious issue, and that is the problem. Most times when an incident happens, the spokesperson to the president will just come out quickly and just, write it off. You don't write off incidents. And most times, like some time ago in Bukos, in just Plateau State, over 100 people were slaughtered, and that's all. We don't have a conclusive investigation into this issue. And that's why I was watching a program sometime last month. A man who committed murder 38 years ago in America, spent 38 years in prison. He was brought out and executed in presence of his family. They wish him goodbye. Granddad, goodbye. Because they see punishment as an effective tool to manage crime. If you don't have an effective punishment measures in place, you don't have an effective judicial system in place to deal with all these criminal activities, crime keep on flourishing. The lower the punishment, the higher the crime. And that is why I say a lot of people come to Nigeria and do whatever they want to do. Now, going to your question, if we want to get it right, the military, the police, they need to synergize. Intelligence is also very important as well. And I also appreciate the DSS. They are doing a fantastic job for this great country in the area of intelligence gathering, both human intelligence, tech intelligence, and a lot of open source intelligence to serve to the military and other security agencies. So we should also look at intelligence to ensure that this is being managed. And in the area of the genocide, we need to also ensure that our leaders, our political leaders, mind their rhetorics. Most times when I listen to their rhetorics during the campaign, it's so divisive. And that's why we also need to start looking at unification of this great nation, Nigeria, so that we will no longer suffer from religious brutality. Because it stands with Daniels, we are suffering from religious brutality, societal brutality, economic brutality, tribal brutality, a lot of brutality, police brutality as well. Nigeria has been so brutalized, and that is why the Americans are ready to come in. But Americans, or the tweet of Donald Trump, or the coming of the American soldiers to our great nation, Nigeria, will not solve the problem. The only savior we need is ourselves. We have the capability to solve our problem. If America steps in, arms and ammunition will go into the hands of bad guys. A lot of people will want to go into crime, like Libya and other countries. They stepped in. Maybe their intention is not to. I know when they come, they will wipe out these terrorist guys. But arms and ammunition will definitely go to the hands of the bad guys, and nobody can manage the situation.